last, my favorite time of year has arrived. Bring out the terrors and screams, bring out the tricks and treats. Let us celebrate this ghoulish time of year with our favorite movies, and even anime titles to watch for Halloween. 'Tis time! Okay, if I'm gonna wear this getup, the bamboo stick thingy is out, got it? Can you believe Akari took its pay just to make muffling and growling sounds? I want her job. Here we are again in the month of October, and wouldn't you know it, I have a Patreon request that fits in perfectly with the month of terror. Kind of. Okay, I mean, it's more of an action shonen series, but it's got spoopy monsters, exorcism, supernatural stuff, horrible ways to die, the list goes on, so it counts. This is an overdue Patreon request from Philly Cheesesteak Gaming, and yeah, I'm really sorry this took a while. But it's here. Ta-da! I was asked to review the 2016 anime series Twin Star Exorcists at his request, but I found myself in a complicated path when looking into the fan reception of the series compared to the manga. Well, I didn't think I'd be bringing this whole thing back, but here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, this is manga versus anime. And before we move forward, YouTube loves to favorite videos with a lot of interaction, so if you'd like to help our channel out, please leave a like on this video, subscribe if you want more awesome reviews, and leave a comment down below. Interaction is seriously the key to helping your favorite YouTuber, so I appreciate it if you did. Sosei no Onmyoji, aka Twin Star Exorcist, started off as a manga series written and illustrated by Yoshiaki Sukeno. It was serialized in Shueisha's Jump Square magazine in October 2013, and still releases individual chapters till this day. Okay, at this point, they're at like chapter 98, and it's not really near its conclusion just yet. Sources are saying Sukeno is wrapping things up, but it'll take roughly another 12 to 13 volumes to finish everything up. Still not as bad as One Piece. Most other shonens anyways. An anime adaptation was announced on the cover of Jump Square's January 2016 issue for an April 2016 release. All 50 episodes were produced by Studio Pierrot, the same studio that brought you Anime Suicide Squad, Nothing But Screams, and Christian Slater jokes. The basic plot between the manga and anime are relatively the same, but let's just say this is the only real comparison they'll ever share. Basically, there's an alternative dimension housing the negative thoughts of mankind, and this negative energy creates grotesque monsters known as Kegare. Whenever they reach out and lure humans to their world, exorcists head over to destroy the Kegares and save the humans. The story focuses on our two lead characters, Rokuro Enmado and Benio Adashino. Rokuro was turning into a very prominent exorcist with a lot of potential until he suffered a major tragedy that led to the deaths of most of his classmates, so he vows to never become an exorcist ever again. That is until he finds a young girl named Benio fall from the sky shortly after she passes out from a fight against a strong Kegare. Shortly after their first fight together against a very dangerous Kegare, the two of them are summoned to meet with the head of all exorcists, where it's discovered that Benio and Rokuro are the long-awaited Twin Star Exorcists. What does this title mean though? Well, with their powers combined, they can create a path that'll lead to the creation of the Miko, as foretold by the prophecy, and the Miko will be the one that'll be born with an incredible ability to purify all impurities instantly. And yes, this is a very elaborate way of saying they had to make a baby together. Okay, I honestly didn't see that coming. While the two of them are pressured to produce this child as soon as possible, they can't bring themselves to do it, as they have their own personal reasons as to why they wish to keep training to become stronger exorcists, and they also hate each other's guts. This to me looks like the beginning of a beautiful yet tropey relationship. Before I go any further, let me just say this. I'm really not the best person to be reviewing shows like this. A lot of shonens basically share the same story, but are just presented differently. These kinds of shows will star a young male lead getting thrown into a dangerous world or choosing a course that'll only lead to more danger. But we watch them train, grow, and fight their way through many different obstacles in order to get what they want. Unless something different and or interesting is thrown into the mix, you are really not gonna get my attention, since I get the unnerving feeling like I've seen this stuff before. You can tell with my tweets that I was really struggling to get through this show, but was there anything in Twin Star Exorcist that made my efforts worthwhile? I mean, there are a few things in the show that stood out to me, but I feel these ideas were underutilized once we get to episode 21 and beyond. As a whole, Twin Star Exorcists the anime is trying its best to be a good shonen, but also clashing with its seinen elements. It makes sense when you have the same studio behind Bleach, Naruto, and Black Clover produce this one, so I can only assume they told their producers to copy the elements of the manga until the 2-year leap happens, and then they can put whatever the hell they want for the remaining episodes. And since they have a history of adding fillers to their shows with very little complaints, somehow, it actually makes sense to see this series get 50 episodes rather than the typical 13 to 24 episodes that most other shows are granted nowadays. Still, the overall structure to this show feels off-putting since it features a lot of shonen tropes and cliche characters while also tackling dark elements that lead to grotesque deaths and trauma. Take episode 1 for example. We see Rokuro proclaiming his dreams of having a successful future while his housemates remind him of how he fails at everything he does except exorcism. This then leads to them pressuring him to return to the world of exorcism, with him downright refusing. But then we learn a little bit about his past, which involved him being the only survivor of a horrific Kagari massacre that killed off all of his former classmates. And while I would slip in a joke like, well, don't you feel bad now? The one that was pressuring him to return knew of his past already. So it's almost like he's saying, yeah, you have no memory of your parents and suffered a horrific tragedy at the age of 12. But suck it up, you gotta help us. Get over it already. What? It only makes it worse when you discover what really happened that day and how he got his cursed arms. I'm just left here wondering where the hell is his therapist? Why isn't he here right now? Comparing all of this to the manga, however, I mean, a lot of these elements are still there, but it is handled a lot better. You can tell the manga was more focused on the, exorcist element rather than just fight scenes within its first chapter. The anime starts off with Rokuro's flashback, then we're introduced to Benio, cut back to Rokuro getting dumped, then back to Benio about to get off a train until she's attacked by Kagare. And that's when we get the falling shot, emphasizing more that this show will have a lot of action and prioritize the fight scenes. The manga, however, starts off with Rokuro's flashback, and then we cut to an actual exorcism of a girl possessed by a Kagare. Wow, did you know that this show had exorcists in them that can actually perform exorcisms? Like regular ones, instead of using them as like weapons of fighting because anime action scenes are cool? Okay, let's put it like this. The manga presents the elements of Twin Star Exorcists almost at the same level as The Gray Man, where it can have some lighthearted moments but focuses more on their mission and how serious the situations can be. The anime, however, is more like Attack on Titan, but it's on a budget and led by characters from Attack on Titan Junior High.
Say goodbye! Uh-oh.
Oh, this is fun. If anything, I kept comparing this anime to another exorcism action series, Kekkaishi. And y'all already know how I feel about Kekkaishi. Thanks, I hate it. As for the tonal issues, here's the thing. Just you wait, guys! I'm gonna become stronger and purify all the Kagaris from existence! All of my classmates died in a horrific Kagari massacre and I can still hear their screams at night. Well, I'm gonna purify the Kagaris from existence so that I can fulfill my duties and eat all the ohagi I want. I watched my parents get crushed to death when I was 8. You guys like boobies? Not to mention, once we learn more about Rokuro's past, what really happened, and how he got his cursed arm, the manga adds in a nice scene between him and his older brother figure, Ryugo. Since he was the one giving Rokuro more pressure to join the Exorcists again, he wholeheartedly apologized for pushing him because he genuinely didn't know what really happened and why it affected Rokuro severely. The anime, however, doesn't have that scene at all. I'm sorry, but why? That was a really wholesome scene that covers my mixed feelings over Ryugo's poor expectations of Rokuro, but the anime felt that wasn't necessary. Instead, we get a shocked Rokuro looking at Benio and her injuries, but that was already covered in the manga when they meet up at the Exorcist meeting. Just forget about growth, trauma, recovery, and depth. This show will put our characters through hell and back, and it looks really cool, right guys? Right? Oh, well, we're still riding on Naruto money, so who cares? Woohoo! Boruto! I could go on and on over the tonal issues and such, but there really is no need to compare the anime and manga anymore. If you like the idea of an exorcist-themed action seinen, then you're better off reading the manga. The characters are more focused, the tone is a lot more serious, while still giving you a few charming moments to get you interested in these characters. And the art style is impeccable. Like, it's even more impressive to look at this artwork rather than what they actually give you in the anime. die. Not to mention the anime's last 30 episodes feel like a stretched out waste of time with boring villains and new characters that don't really add anything special to this alternative timeline. The manga at this point leaves enough intrigue with our main characters alone to get you reading more. Even still, I couldn't shake the feeling like this story is full of cliches and tropes that I've seen already in a whole bunch of other shows. But is there anything that grabbed my attention at all? Honestly, the Miko prophecy is an original twist that made me want to keep reading, so I'll give points for that. I mean, how would you feel if you have goals for yourself to be as strong as possible and dream of purifying the world of its impurities, but then get told that you need to put all of that aside in order to make a baby that'll be the true savior of the world? I mean, honestly, that can't be easy to hear. Some would argue that Arima's action to not act on the increase of Kigari was foolish, and yeah, he did get chewed out for that, but I think he did it just to make his point loud and clear. You two couldn't win even when you were at your strongest. Just do as you're told, relocate to a safe area under our protection, and give birth to the Miko. The Miko can easily save all of us, but it won't happen if one or both of you die. I also like how there's no real answer to the situation. So the prophecy says this baby will solve all of our problems. But why should we burden this kid with the sole purpose in life to just purifying Kigares?
Once the Miko is born, the twin stars will have fulfilled their destiny. So then I'd be free to fight Yuto, right?
Well, yes, I suppose that would suffice.
No, you're wrong, it wouldn't!
I mean, no matter if it's going to be an easy job for this kid or not, no matter if it's part of the prophecy or not, the other exorcists must do their part to make sure they're not alone in this fight and don't have to burden them with everything. As selfish as it may seem for Rokuro and Benio to prioritize their training and personal goals over giving birth to the prophecy, at the very least, they want to become worthy enough parents to the Miko. They want to set an example for their future children and help in their efforts towards a brighter future, rather than use the prophecy and toss all of their responsibilities onto this one kid. That's actually pretty admirable to me. A little risky given the circumstances, but it's understandable. Overall, while I don't usually like shows like this, I can see the appeal with Twin Star Exorcists. It's got interesting characters with few elements you don't usually think about. It's still a bit tropey with a lot of reused cliches, but it has enough to be its own thing, especially with the Miko storyline. I'd say if you really want to check this out, read the manga. This is actually a first for me, as I'll find any reason to prefer the anime, but there is a serious reason why fans are demanding for a reboot. I'd recommend picking up the first volume to see if you like it, or just sign up for the Shonen Jump subscription on Viz Media's website to read each chapter online. Their membership only costs $2 per month, so you can't really go wrong with that price. If you really want to watch the anime, it was licensed by Crunchyroll, so you can watch the series both subbed and dubbed on their website. The dub itself it's alright. You got Bryce Papenbrook as Rokuro, Cassandra Lee Morris as Benio, Johnny Young Bosch as Shimon, Vic Mignogna as Spoilers, and Matthew Mercer as Arima. It's actually not that bad, but the one character that really stood out to me was Kate Higgins as Subaru. One would say she's more of a Princess Ojo-sama type, but
as my pupil, it's imperative that you be able to anticipate my wants and needs. If you two can work together and find me before the sun sets, then you win. Do that, and I'll put you on a training regimen so intense you'll regret asking.
Well, aren't you just a sweet little old angel there, aren't you, darling? Bless your little heart there. Okay, anyone who grew up in the South knows that last sentence I just said could easily translate to, what the fuck is this shit? Go fuck yourself. But in all honesty, I can't say the Southern Belle approach wasn't adorable or anything. In the end, I'm glad the series has a strong enough fan base that makes them want to protect the manga, since I wouldn't have given this series a chance otherwise. The anime is pretty generic and boring, but the interesting elements that are there in the anime are given more attention in the manga, which tells the story a lot better and with incredible presentation. If you're in the mood for an interesting seinen anime full of exorcism, dark antagonists, and throws in a few twists here and there, you should definitely read Twin Star Exorcists.
Come at me, bro.
Fighter-Man, Fighter-Man, overall he is fairly bland. Hit some stuff, hit some more, outside combat it's quite a bore. Look out, he is a Fighter-Man.
Oh my god, did that spell work? You know, like the one where you write your name in an eraser? I hear the head cheerleader's having an abortion.
Who are you gonna call?
Your fat mom taking her for a fat time.
Nice try, demon. His fat mom is dead!
This Friday, I am receiving an award from the AMA.
Jerk-off of the year. No, bastard of the year. Don't you tell me, guy I despise so much, I'd pay someone to kill you and stuff you and leave you by my bed so that when I wake up in the morning, I could roll over and punch you in the face. Of the year.
It's a brand new day, and the sun is high. All the birds are singing that you're gonna die.
All that matters is standing people next to other people and then make them fall in love and then to make babies. Tactical advantages? No. Strategic unit choice? No. Items? No. I need babies! I need more bodies for my army. So go ahead and get busy!
They gonna stay beginners with the crap baby tips like these, you goose-legged whale-fart. Some people actually take this game seriously and don't cheese the combat.
Well, excuse me, you ding-dong. Why didn't you go make a video about how I'm about to beat your face in with this 2.8 case?
Oh, you wanna go now, dude? You wanna square up?
Bring it on, you New Zealand shrimp nugget! Ah!
Impressive, you know? I mean, I've never had a student score 0 in everything before.
What do you mean? I chose exactly the perfect spell for every situation.
Well, you answered fireball for every question.
What's your point, person within fireball distance?
What about Sherry's behavior is upsetting you? Oh, boy, where do we start? The way she looks, the way she smells, the way she is. She exists. I hate her. All of the above.
Out of this house! Out of this house!
I love looking at boobies.
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to...
What's up, Gorny?
I've been traumatized.
Just the precamur duci princeps militia celestis.
I don't know what those words mean, but I'm hoping it's doing the demons away.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Seriously, the main comment I kept getting over and over again on Twitter every time I complained about this show was, read the manga. I'm honestly glad I did, because boy, howdy, you guys were robbed. So my question to all of you out there is, was there a manga you loved so much that you felt incredibly disappointed with its anime adaptation? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Special thanks to Philly Cheesesteak Gaming for this request, and again, I do apologize that it took this long to make it happen. And I'd like to give a big thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters for helping this channel stay alive and thriving. We're able to survive YouTube's unfair algorithm thanks to all of you. Thank you all so much for your support and for watching this video to the very end. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned to Anime America.